From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, especially if you're listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading out on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Geraldine Orozco of Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California, comes on in early each month to discuss the benefits of the spiritual you. Geraldine's research in the role of DNA as a currency of the past, present, and future, with consciousness as a catalyst, a life-changing contact experience in 2013 resulted in the activation of psychic abilities, and in 2017 she underwent several hypnotic regressions with vetted therapists, and those regressions uncovered a lifelong story of ET contact, ET abduction, and participation in the human hybridization program. So far, she believes she has 24 hybrid children somewhere out there in space, floating around among the stars. Her life is dedicated now to the dissemination of knowledge of hybridization programs and the correction of the commonly held dogma of the human genetic timeline, historical record, and human structure. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Geraldine Orozco, it's always a pleasure to have you here. How are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. As always, it's a pleasure to be here at the beginning of the month. So happy to be with you guys.
I know. It's so exciting when you're here. Always exciting when you're here. And you know, our audience just keeps asking, when's Geraldine coming on again? When's she coming on again? Well, guess what? She's here. She's here.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I can't wait to answer questions and get into some, we're going through some incredibly interesting times. So there's so much to talk about, so much to focus on. It's a time of great work and transition. So let's get to it.
All right. You know, the past few months, we have had literally a real upheaval in society. You know, first with COVID-19 and now what's happening around the world right now with protests and people wondering what is going on. Enough is enough. This is stressing people out, Geraldine. And, you know, you see it all over social media. You see it on the news where you're bombarded with it on television, on the radio, in newspapers, online magazines. It is everywhere. And you know what? Whether people want to believe it or not, this type of news, this type of depression that it causes in people, it's a lot. It's heavy. It's heavy times living right now, and we're trying to escape. We don't know how for the majority of us, or we can't. We feel like prisoners in our own homes. You know, for a lot of people, that's a lot of stress on their shoulders, Geraldine.
It really is. And I mean, the important thing to remember right now is, you know, we all of us are going through these incredible waves of emotion. 1 minute we are happy, 1 minute we're depressed, next minute we're excited, next minute we're afraid, because there's so much uncertainty in the things that are happening right now. And, you know, I don't blame us. I mean, all of us, we're all going through this. I mean, we also have an economic shift, a major economic shift that's coming right now that we're all going to be feeling pretty soon. So where do we find our grounding? Where do we find our balance? It's incredibly important to begin supporting ourselves for this time right now that we're in. A lot of people writing to me about, you know, it's there's half and half. Some people are ecstatic about the things that are happening. Some people are feeling really down. And the thing is that when we're down, to be able to have the tools to support yourself for that time. Okay. How do you support yourself? Remember that we are not just this body. We're not just this physical shell that's going to be experiencing all these things. We are more than that. We are spiritual beings that are experiencing this limited experience here on this earth. And so if we can kind of maybe remember that, or just remind ourselves of that, focus on what's important, and that is maintaining a balance and well-being within you in all areas of your life. There's something that I really talk about, which is called GPAC, grounding, protecting, aligning, creating. And I made an acronym, which is GPAC, that talks about the grounding, how important it is to ground yourself, be in the body, how important it is to be aware of how you're feeling, how you're doing, and to intentionally align yourself with the different aspects of well-being. You know, what does it take for someone to be in a state of wellness? They have to be well emotionally, intellectually, physically, socially, in their environment, financially, and spiritually. So remember those aspects and take a moment out of every day to do one little thing for each one of those categories that can help pull you forward, keep you focused on what you need for well-being. You know, we could be out there panicking and freaking out about everything that's happening, but on the other hand, we can also be taking this time to really focus on building a strong foundation for the future. You know, once things start to change even more, because change, I think, is going to be completely inevitable at this point, Dave.
Well, I love Marty on Twitter's tweet at #SpacedOutRadio, and he put a meme in there that says, "Has anybody tried giving 2020 a Snickers?" I mean, that's the point. like, you know, in 2016, 2017, we all thought it was the end of the world because so many of our famous artists and musicians and actors and actresses passed away. I mean, it was like one a day there for a while. And then we fast forward to 2020, and it's like 2020 is saying to us, you know, you haven't seen anything yet. Oh, right. No, here it comes. You know, I mean, what's next? I mean, you know, jokingly aside, on our today's Thought of the Dave, I put on there, what else could go wrong in 2020? And I asked people, I said, no, nothing political. Please be humorous and have some fun with this. But there's some people out there where you can even tell, even in the answers, that there is no humor about 2020. It's a bad year for many people out there. And you know, we have to try and improve this. How do we do that?
Well, I think that I think the perspective is what is going to kind of bring us above water and into a place of stability. I think the important thing to do in times of uncertainty is to find our stability. And all of this uncertainty is a great reminder that what we are and how do we define our experiences shouldn't be based on what's happening outside necessarily. Now, we're not going to negate what's happening. Of course, major potential collapse of the finance, system, major problems in our food, major problems in the things that are happening in politics around us. And we have a lot of division going on around us. But the question is, how are we going to respond to that? Are we going to be victimized, or are we going to go into rage and anger and maybe question whether those reactions that we tend to want to have instinctually are something that are going to be constructive or destructive for what's happening. And I think it's really important for all of us to take a step back and kind of, check in with ourselves and see what's constructive and what's not productive with what's happening. Anything that causes more pain and suffering for those around us is probably not necessarily, the most productive thing to do. But at the same time, how can we make a long-lasting, effective change? Obviously, the system is not, what is in alignment with us. So we have to find a more holistic way of living. And how do we do that? We become aware of what we need long-term. We need to be more self-sustaining, and we have to start thinking about those ways. How can we sustain the well-being of ourselves? Right now, we're at home. We have a choice to stay home and, start building the foundation of that kind of well-being. Taking the time to do that. And that has to do with preparing, planning, what do we need as a whole and as an individual in order to thrive So there's a lot of things. I mean, how do we get out of that? We need to find a balance within us. We need to find a place of stability, and that stability should always be that our emotional state is in check. Okay, we're not panicking. It doesn't serve anyone when we panic, and the body, more importantly, takes a huge toll. That's something that's really, really important right now. The activation of really powerful self-love, in a sense where we're being compassionate with ourselves. Are we not sleeping? Are we not eating? Are we overeating because of the stress and anxiety? Are those choices that we're making aware? Are we being conscious, or are we just reacting and trying to come into survival mode? This is a key moment where we have to remind ourselves that whatever we're doing right now is going to set the foundation for what we're coming into in this new phase. It's a major transition. We are definitely inevitably going through a transition, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Okay, so the time to do the work, the inner work, is now, whether you like it or not, because all the things that are happening around us are here to trigger the deepest, darkest, emotional parts of us that have been really not looked at in a long time. So it's a major one in a lifetime experience that we're going through right now.
Well, I can tell you this, just reading the comments so far, and there's a couple people in here who are really concerned, okay? Like, take Adnome, for instance. He says, when people destroy my place of work and I lose everything, how do we handle this?
Right, and so that's where we're starting to question, I'll be honest. I'll tell you. I mean, we're going through a transition, and I think we all see that we need change. We do need change in a lot of different areas right now. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of anger, suppressed anger, and the reason why there's that anger is that we've been in denial for a long time about a lot of things that have not been right. And we're not, we never felt like we had a choice, or maybe we believed that we didn't have any ability to take action on change. So, right now, our money speaks, the way that we handle things. There are pacific ways, in a sense, that we can cause a much larger effect in this and to create a long-lasting change. We already know the systems that are not working. And if we know that, we as the human race as a whole have much more power than we think and that we know about. First of all, our money, where we put our money, speaks much louder than the destruction of places like that. Okay, and when we do things like that, we're causing. We got to think about it. Yes, you're retaliating against these systems. I understand that, but that's nothing. That's not going to cause an effect. What's going to cause an effect is a much larger unification of consciousness and awareness of what we're going. So it's almost as if we have to take this moment to re-educate ourselves on really what's happening in the world around us. And that's not going to happen through violence. It's not going to happen through breaking windows and doing all these things. We have to get very serious and very real. It's almost like a social maturity that is coming into play right now. We're kind of in the infancy, point of this kind of revolution, so to speak, of what's happening. And so I really pray to God that we kind of move away from these kinds of reactions that are causing a lot of harm and disturbance, to our community, which is not necessarily the solution. The solution is unity consciousness. And the question is, what is unity consciousness? Right? That's the thing. That's what we have to be understanding. Unity consciousness and awareness of where we're at right now and where we want to see ourselves, 6 months down the line. So if we continue the violence streak, which is exactly what, is planned, is what they expect, a lot of us are going to end up falling into the trap of a system that is suppressing even more so freedoms, communication, expression, and all that. So we have to learn how to play along with this this movement, I think, that's happening of awareness in a very careful way, So I feel for all those people that have their small businesses damaged and affected right now, and to those people, we all send our love and our energy in order for them to recover quickly from this as best as possible. And for those that are angry, take a moment to really think about what we're doing here. We don't want to hurt one another. We want change. And so in order to affect change, it's got to go deeper. It's got to be a deeper change. So, those are my 2 cents on that.
I'm gonna bring in some comments that Mark is making in the chat room here, and he speaks for not only himself but a lot of people here. Okay, and I don't think it's as much as of a critique of what you're saying, because I think your message is bang on, but there is a reality to what is going on. He's saying here in our chat room on YouTube, he's like, I have done the work. Geraldine, you're coming from a good place, but the new agey stuff doesn't cut it when it comes to survival. And for a lot of people, like he's saying, he's lost 2/3 of his business, 2/3 of his clients. He's trying to figure out how to keep a roof over his head, not only through COVID, but through what is going on with the protests and everything like that. He doesn't get violent. He doesn't want to. But, I mean, people like Mark right now are pushed to the brink of frustration. And when it comes to that, survival is key. I mean, especially, I don't know if Mark has kids. I don't know if he has a wife or a family to take care of, or it's just him. But when you look at your kids in the eyes at this point, as so many people across North America and the world are, and they haven't been taken care of like they said they were going to be by their governments, and they haven't been able to get their messages heard or their finances in order, we look at it and think, you know what? This isn't for me. I got to figure out how to get food on my table. I got to figure out how to pay my bills, because, I mean, once you ruin your credit, you're gone for 7 years. You might as well throw yourself in the garbage.
Yep. And I agree. And I mean, myself included, been heavily affected by this financially, right? And we're all going through it. But here's the thing. We are being, in a way, funneled into this survival mode. Please remember that. Please remember what's happening here. The bigger picture is beyond this. Yes, we are truly trying to survive and trying to pay our bills, but the emotional reaction that's happening right now is not going to change that. So, so right now what we're doing is we have to think bigger, and we have to be able to find solutions that are in a pacific and strong, sustaining foundation that will create a strong foundation for the future. What we're doing right now is we're trying to rebuild ourselves. And it's also a time for all of us to question what we're doing. We've had our businesses, we've been working in it. How can we change that? The priorities are going to be severely different 6 months from now for all of us. It's going to be about community, about rebuilding the community. So we have to think bigger in that sense. And we're all being pushed into that. But the emotional response that we're having is not one that needs to be expressed in violence. I don't think so. I don't think so.
And I think the majority of people out there who are listening to this have no violent streak. They're not out there protesting. They're not out there, breaking in windows to businesses and stealing coats and runners and sneakers. If you're in the U.S., we call them runners up here in Canada. And, other wants, needs, necessities, whether it's food or whatever. And, I'm going to assume Mark is in the UK somewhere or in Europe somewhere, because he's not in Canada or the US. But, I mean, there is a very, very big sense of frustration. People are let down. Governments they voted for, who made a ton of promises, aren't following through. And I don't usually turn the show political, because, it heats people up. But, I mean, this isn't, in the U.S., it's not a Republican or a Democratic problem. In Canada, it's not a liberal or a conservative or Democrat problem. And it's not a problem, with whatever party. It's the fact that, we have all these government agencies that are supposed to be there for the people, by the people. Doesn't matter what democracy you're in. And the only thing that they are doing is screwing their own citizens for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it is time for change. It's been time for change. This was bound to happen, and it comes in waves. Right now, it's hitting us harder because of all the things that we've been through. And being in survival mode is inevitable right now. But we can think more clearly once we have handled those emotions of panic. Okay, we can think more clearly, we can plan more clearly. In order to start doing and taking the decisions that we need to do, we have to have a clear mind, and we can't make those choices from a place of survival. That's the thing that is the truth about us as humans for our well-being. When we need to make good choices for us that will cause effective change, it's not going to be the ones that come from this survival mode. So, that's something that I'm here to remind you to, I feel so deeply for all of you that are going through such terrible times right now. All of us are. But we need to get grounded, and we need to unite, and we need to get very clear about the priorities, I feel, This
has to be an absolute terror for anybody who's an empath right now.
Yes.
I mean, I'm surprised, and I say this sarcastically, but with a hint of truth. I'm surprised we're not seeing more empaths committing suicide.
Yes.
Because this is a horrible, horrible time. And for people who take on all of that type of energy that surrounds them, I wouldn't want to be that.
Right, and that's exactly what's happening to a lot of people, Dave, and everyone. I mean, I'm getting emails from people that are like, "Oh my God, I cannot stand this energy right now. It's too much." And that's why it's like we have to use the tools that we have to be able to protect ourselves energetically and focus inward. Focus inward. It really is the only way for us to come into a state of empowerment right now.
Okay. So for people who may not know what being an empath is, could you describe that for us?
Sure. I mean, an empath is someone that feels the emotions and senses their emotions and feelings and expression of another human being. Okay, so they're very sensitive to how people are feeling. So, for example, if someone's feeling angry, they're going to pick up on that feeling. They're very highly intuitive to the body language, the emotional language, and the energetic language that a person or an individual is expressing. So an empath will very much pick up on those subtle hints, subtle notions and expressions that someone around them is making. So, for those of you that are extremely empathic and intuitive right now, you guys are being bombarded because a lot of us not only pick up just the people that are in our immediate space, but we can tap into a collective of people, and we're tapping into maybe even the world. And so you have the ability of picking up on that. And it is important that we're aware of what's happening around us and we pick up on this information as an empath. But it's also time to understand how to disconnect from this bombarding of information when you don't need it and when you are not in a place of, balance and stability. So,
Geraldine, you hold that thought right there, because we're going to step out for break here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to continue with what it's like to be an empath with Geraldine Orozco on The Spiritual You right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, Use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Need that weekend's supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. So glad to be here with all of you tuning on in. Hope your ears are just getting warmed up for us tonight. Want to remind you that if you missed potential or part of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. If you're on Twitter and not following us yet, why not? Do so at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Geraldine Orozco is here tonight for the Spiritual You. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com, is where we're going. And right before the break, Geraldine, we were talking about, trying to get people pumped back up, trying to get them back into routine. How do you get back into routine when your routine doesn't even exist anymore?
Yeah, and I mean, whatever we're dealing with right now in the world is change inevitably. But what I'm here to remind you as the spiritual you is how to bring yourself back into alignment, into a routine, or maybe even you need a lack of a routine. Some of you have been, working and slaving in the office 24/7 for the past however many years. And now this is an opportunity for you to stay home. So, in other words, we are all getting what we thought was our safe zone, what we thought was our safety net. We're getting all of that kind of thrown up in the air right now. And so if that's happening for all of us, it is a tremendous invitation to kind of like these little blocks that you throw up in the air and they all have to come crashing down. How they come down and how we place them back in a row is going to define how this building or this structure, which is your body, which is you, is going to be built. And it really has everything to do with everything. It has to do with the spiritual aspect of yourself, the food you're eating, how you're resting, how you're connecting with yourself, and how you're reacting to the things that are happening around us, because all of that takes an effect on the body. Don't forget that we are partly physical, but we have an entire organism, an aspect of ours that is non-physical. And the non-physical aspect is a part of us that is constantly absorbing all of those non-visible factors that we are taking into the body, like stress, like anxiety, like all of the things that are processing in our body. All of that we are storing in the body, and it takes a huge effect. The body will start getting aches, pains. We can even come out of balance and get sick at this point because of the anxiety and stress that we're all going through. So we need to go back to basics, and we need to remember what the body needs in order to be able to overcome such an incredible transition that we're going through. Having a clear mind to be able to make the choices that we need right now. Whether it's right now where we have to redefine our careers, some of us are changing our business, having to readapt, reinvent ourselves. So all of that is going to take a bigger vision. That bigger vision is created by understanding the self. How? Because everything that's happening outside is a direct reflection of everything that's happening within us, and not just on an individual level, but collectively. The entire planet Earth is going through a moment of transition. We are shifting in vibration, and we are coming into a new kind of stage of how we're going to be living. Okay, this is the invitation. You can choose to come along and be a participant of that transition, or you can stay back in your own habits as well. The only thing that's happening is that those old habits, they're no longer resonating. They're no longer resonating with us on a physical level or psychological or emotional. What's happening is that people that are not willing to change, people that are not willing to reinvent themselves, adapt, heal themselves, are being put through stages of incredible amount of stress, suffering, and that's where their perception is going to be. So we need to remember that and support ourselves in creating a change that is very conscious and aware and supportive. How do we do that? You have to be aware of your emotions. Number one, what are you feeling and why are you feeling that way? This is incredibly important right now. If you are just reacting to the things that you see out of fear, it's not going to get you anywhere, because the reactions that you're going to have are going to be based on purely survival mode without looking at the bigger picture. And that is going to be something that will really, it'll basically design how you're going to be experiencing the next few months. Okay. Right now, the invitation for all of us is to, from the ground up, we have to be able to build a new way of living. We have to be more self-sustaining. Okay, we have to be able to grow our own food, or try to grow our own food, try to be healthy, focus on all the things that we haven't been doing. Okay, that's what this time is for right now. Yes, we are in survival mode trying to pay our bills, but we're not going to be able to even get the opportunities that we need if our body and our mind isn't where it needs to be. So there's some work that needs to be done there. And, having that awareness of your emotions and why you're feeling that way is going to really take a lot of stress out of that feeling of fearful. What is fear? Let's define fear really quickly. Fear is the separation of things. It's the illusion of separation. Why? Because we see something different or something strange, something separate, and we think that it's something outside of ourselves that has nothing to do with us, and we don't know it. So when we have the feelings of unknown, we fear the unknown, okay? That what you're fearing is really your ability to interact with something that you don't know. So that kind of, introspection has to happen. Okay, we have to become aware of the things that we are fearful of and why we're afraid of them. And this will help us in the fast-changing times that we're in. If we continue to go down the path of just reacting to things, we're never going to know ourselves, and any next new thing that comes up puts us in a tailspin again, so that's really unhealthy for us. We don't want to be in this roller coaster. We need to get off the roller coaster and create stability by becoming comfortable with the unknown right now, okay? Because otherwise we're just gonna get really sick. So once you're aware of what that fear is, what's the opposite of fear? The opposite of fear is, taking what you don't know as a part of you. So now you've understood that you're not aware of what this object is or thing that's happening outside of you. Take a moment to assess it, understand it calmly, and you will soon recognize yourself within these things that you don't know. Okay, so that's how we begin to define love. Love is the awareness of all things outside of ourselves as a part of ourselves. So these are the two things that I really want, and I know that it's going to be very helpful for a lot of you that are going through this moment right now. Okay, when our human body goes into a state of fear, chemicals are released into the body that really, really affect the body in a negative way. We don't want to go down that path. We have to be aware of that. We can't deny that that's true. You also can't deny your fear. That's why I'm saying acknowledge the fear that's happening. Get to know it. Okay, get to know why you're feeling that way. And once you do, you can begin to work with yourself and work into an understanding of why you feel this way and how you can support that. When you support that, you begin to come into this range of self-compassion where you're aware of how to support yourself in moments in areas that you don't know. Okay, so the next step that I would say is to come into a state of unconditional self-love. When you come into unconditional self-love, you can choose, and here's the question that I would really invite for you to do. What would someone that loved themselves do? Okay, ask yourself that question when you're choosing to do anything, because it changes the perspective of what you're doing. It's amazing. Would someone that loved themselves, eat this ridiculously fried something? Okay, would they? Would somebody that loved themselves go and put themselves in harm's way? Would they harm others? Okay, so it really changes it, and it makes it have a more broader perspective that includes you and all things around you. And that is what we need to train ourselves to come into for the future. So there's several little things, but those are the primary things that I would love for you all to consider at this time.
All right, Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I got a comment and a couple of questions. So Spookles, the cat, in our chat room, she says, as cheesy as this might seem or as controversial, I think for many it should be an opportunity to change, to be more compassionate, understanding, inclusive, etc. It is a very difficult time. Hopefully everyone will come out stronger. I mean, I don't think we could say it pretty much any better than that right now. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I agree completely. Thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly where, we need to be right now. And it is hard. It's a battle. I mean, it's a momentary battle. One moment you're good, next moment you hear the news and it's like, you're deflated, you're upset. So choose the things that are going to constantly keep your spirit high. Whatever that is, take the time and effort to do it. We need to do that right now. It keeps us focused and grounded in what's the next step.
Right. The second comment, and it's kind of a question too. This one comes from Marty on Twitter as well. He says, my wife is an empath, and she has been having a tough time lately. I do the best I can to comfort her, but not only does she feel the emotions of people as well as animals, but she feels their physical pain as well. What do you suggest to somebody like Marty?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for asking that. I was just working with a client that has this problem today. And one of the things here's what happens with empaths. Empaths are like sponges. And the fact is, all of us are quite empathic. We all have a choice of tapping into our abilities to be empathic. However, some of us have it more developed than others. And we're born with this empathic ability. But what happens is that because we're living in the external, that means we're paying attention to the things that are happening outside us, all the people that are outside us, we forget to mind what's happening within the body. So as an empath, one of the keys to mastering and beginning to work with this gift that we have is to be able to manage the inside before you choose to tap into what's happening outside. And so that really has to do with energetic boundaries, becoming aware of your space. I know that you see the suffering here. I know that you can tap into the feeling of this person. But right now, what about your body? What does your body need? So create healthy energetic boundaries and only tap into what is needed in that time. Why do I say that? I used to, when I first opened up my psychic abilities, I couldn't leave my house for 3 months because it was exhausting. I would go out to the grocery store. I could feel everything. It's like my skin would hurt because I couldn't handle the amount of everything that I was pulling in because I didn't know how to create healthy boundaries. And now I only tap into things that I need to tap into at that time to be of service when is needed. Okay, so the thing is, learn how to tap into things, because what happens when we do, there is an exchange of energy. When you tap into someone's energy, you're exchanging with them. Okay, you're giving them energy, they're giving you information. This is energy is information. So there's an exchange there. So you have to choose if you want to be in constant exchange mode all day. And unless you have an incredibly powerful grounding practice and boundaries, you're going to be pulling a lot of that into your body. And the problem is that the body is drained of energy. You can take in entities, attachments. You can even pull in other people's emotions, depression. You can pull in, even their illnesses you can pull into your body. Okay, a lot of empaths. They pull in the things that are from around them. That's what they're here for. They're here for healing, but they have to know how to own that gift. So what do? Cut cords with the people that you're with all the time. Okay, if you are in service, if you're working out at a grocery store, you're doing something, exchanging with all these people, heavy energy right now. People are in survival mode. So if you're an empath, you're taking all that in. Be aware at night to have a really strong energetic hygiene, which is an energy practice that you're grounding yourself, you're cutting cords with all the people you've come in contact that day, and you're aware of your energetic space. What does that mean? I created the acronym GPAC, which I mentioned at the beginning of our show today, which is grounding, protection, aligning, creating, co-creating. Grounding, meaning that you are in your body. You're not thinking about last night's dinner, and you're not thinking about tomorrow's financial crash, okay? You are in the present moment right now. You're in your body in what you're doing, and you're focused on what you're doing, aware and present. That is a very important practice for us right now, okay? Aligning, you're aware of your emotions. You're in control of your emotions. You're not just reacting to things like, like a candle in the wind per se. When the wind moves one way, you're moving that way. You're aware of your emotions, what belongs to you and what does not. And so that boundary is incredibly empowering. And you're co-creating, okay? Grounding, protecting, and protection stands for protection. So you imagine that you have a bubble around your entire body, and this bubble represents the awareness of your entire body, because most of us think of our body as just what's in front of us, whatever we can see from the front of our face forward. We forget about the back of our body. And a lot of the clients that come to me have attachments and entities connected to the spinal cord, because that's usually where they bind to the body. Okay, the spinal cord is the most important connection to our spiritual body, to our spiritual self. It is the one that takes and stores all the information that's being brought in through the routers of the body, quote unquote routers, which are the chakras. The chakras receive that information from the nervous system, okay? And all of this information that's being processed, if we're not aware of the back of our body, we can come in and attach any number of things to the physical body. So that really deteriorates the body. So become aware of what's happening. Create the bubble, which is a really easy imagination and visualization that you can do to become aware of what's happening to your overall organism, okay? Which is a much larger physical and non-physical aspect. So once you become aware of your body, you zip up your space. And the last part of the acronym is co-creation, which means that you are intentionally deciding and creating your experiences. So instead of going into victim mode, fear mode, survival mode, hiding or trying to be fearful in that moment, you are really aware of how you're deciding to experience every moment. So this is one of the most powerful ways that we want to be. We want to embody this right now more than ever. So that's what I would suggest.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's get to another question here. This one comes from John. He says, what good is it to be generous, kind, patient, open if you can't do it when everything hits the fan? Of course, it's easier said than done. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I get fear, but we can't let any of this change us.
Yeah, that's wonderful that you said that. But there's some things there in what you said that are very conflicting for some people and confusing also for some people because first of all, change is inevitable, and we have to transform. We're in a time of transformation. The whole reason why we're on this planet experiencing this human three-dimensional plane, physical plane, is for us to feel truly the things that we're feeling and experiencing right now. And the purpose of that is to be able to observe and manage this human physical body going through all these things and learning, transforming, changing, evolving with all the information that we're collecting through all these experiences. So it's very, very important. A lot of people are having a hard time dealing with this this understanding of balanced exchanges, which is also being called to attention right now, right? Are we giving more than we're receiving? Are we receiving more than we're giving? There's some people that come into this parasitic consciousness where they take and take and take all the time. And then there's another group of people that are always giving. They're always suffering. They're always in victim mode. So these are the things that are changing in the world around us right now. And so it's gonna get kind of crazy before it gets more peaceful and more calm, before the dust settles, So this is a moment of major transition, and we gotta stay clear in what's the end goal here, which is basically the embodiment of the human that is employing their free will, that is sovereign, that is whole, that is embodying a very healthy lifestyle, holistically, body, mind, soul, in all areas. It's no longer a time to live in a place of survival, or some people are happy and some people are suffering. So it's gonna take a lot of a little bit of turbulence for a little bit until we get to that.
We only got about 2 minutes here before we got to go to break. At the top of the hour, Geraldine Orozco is our guest. Geraldine, I'm curious, okay, we do have listeners out there who are looking at starting a family or currently waiting for their newborn to be born within the next few months. For those who are expecting here soon, how do we keep the stress level down? Because we know, scientifically speaking, how stress also affects babies and the unborn.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're so right, and it's so important to talk about that. What I talked about earlier today about grounding and being aware of your body is really all there is. That's where it begins, and that's where it ends. Don't forget that everything begins and ends with you. Okay, whatever you're experiencing in your life. And especially when you're bringing a new life, remember that child is absorbing all of your emotions, everything that you're feeling. So come into a state of love. Come into a state of supporting an incredible self-love where your child will be able to feel that safety, that welcome feeling into this world. You don't know how many clients I work with every day that go to the womb. We come back to the womb and we're working with the trauma of not being wanted, of being in a stressful environment, not wanting to bring the child into life. That scars the child for life. So that awareness is something that we have to become aware of. And as mothers, as parents, to provide a really, really safe feeling environment when the child is coming in, despite what we're going through. And really, this is the thing. This is the environment that we have to have within our bodies consciously as a choice instead of survival mode now, whether we have children or we don't have children. That's just the key thing, Dave. We need to have that kind of foundation and that strength within us now. We have to embody that peace. Yeah.
That is awesome. Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You continue right after this on Spaced Out Radio as we're about to go to break at the top of the hour. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com and BayAreaMeditation.com. She has like 40,000 websites, but we're only going to give 2 of them out. Otherwise we'd be here all night. Geraldine Orozco continues on the Spiritual You right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best-rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Second hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining us. We are wide awake here at SOR headquarters. I am Dave Scott, hanging out with all of you, especially those listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam is set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What is this? La Crematory. La Crematory is your password. Probably got that wrong, but the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. You know, Captain Shirk can be, just bam, brutally honest sometimes. So this is the message she just sent me like seconds ago. She goes, Jeebus, you still have that chin overhang. She doesn't like the beard adage here. She doesn't like the beard adage. Oh, my goodness, Captain. Oh, my goodness. Shaking my head at you. Hey, follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. We'd really appreciate that. Hey, we got Geraldine Orozco here with the Spiritual You. It happens at the beginning of each month where we hang out, talk about the Zen, the Chi, and all the weird, strange, giggly kind of stuff that we talk about in order to improve on our personal self. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com. You can also check her out at BayAreaMeditation.com. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
I like my chin hair, Geraldine. I like my chin hair. Captain.
No, I don't think it's too bad. I think it looks great, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes. I agree with you. I agree. We got to post that picture of you and I one of these days. I'm going to post it.
Let's post it. Yeah, let's do that.
We got to post it because your hair and my hair look fantastic together.
That's true. We have those little rocker hair, don't we?
Absolutely. You put on some 80s metal and Geraldine and I are ready to headbang. Ready to headbang. Absolutely. All right, let's continue on here with some questions from our audience. Let's start off with Greco on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. He is asking, with all the stress and worry going on right now, I find it hard just to start the healing process. Can you give me some help tips on just starting the self-healing?
Absolutely. And I really completely understand what you're going through. And even myself, because I can kind of pick up on this energy that's happening collectively, the energy feels sticky and thick. Okay. And I'm going to say that just as a way to explain what it feels like right now energetically to let's see if I can clarify. For example, you wake up. It feels like these distant emotions of fear and anxiety, all this stuff comes up, but it feels inaccessible. It feels like you can't really access the information or the root cause of those emotions until you really sit down and connect with your body and connect with what's happening. And in other years, it was incredibly easy to connect with that information. I would just wake up, feel the emotion, and bam, go right there immediately. So this is what a lot of my clients are describing to me, that they feel like it's like they're walking through this goo, like they can't get to the information easily. And there's a lot of resistance. The resistance happens because part of us, the subconscious mind, is coming into a state of fear about something or the survival mode, okay? It can be anything. It can be something you hear on the radio. It can be something that happened in your family. It could be a piece of paper fell off your desk. Because we're dealing with uncertain times, anything that causes a little bit of uncertainty in your life will trigger that feeling in your body. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of what's happening. And a lot of people are telling me that they're picking up on these energies that are causing that. So some of you are flying high. You guys are so happy. You guys are doing wonderful. That's wonderful. That's great for you. But still, when you come into a moment where you want to sit down and meditate, the number one thing I want you to focus on is immediately the body. So at any time in your day, sit with yourself and identify the emotion that your body is carrying at that moment. Okay. When you identify that emotion, notice where in your body that emotion is located. We have these incredible complex bodies that, as I was mentioning, they're like sponges that are recording information within the body, which is non-physical. The non-physical aspect of that information is a holographic projection of what is within what we believe is the physical. Okay. So, of course, the body, for example, your liver, right now, for those of you that are suppressing anger, the liver will be processing a lot of this anger that is suppressed, and a lot of that information will also be connected to the stomach area, your digestive system. So what's important to remember right now is that a lot of the resistance that we feel in coming in to do the work is showing up physically, okay? It's showing up in our diets, it's showing up in our health, and it's showing up in our emotions. So if we can identify where in the body you're feeling the emotion, you can begin to sit and be present. You have now pinpointed the root origin within the body where you're storing what's happening to you right now. Okay, so once you've identified that, be present with the emotion. And that means that you're going to allow yourself to feel the emotion without any resistance, without any blockages, without not trying to or to suppress any reactions that come as a result of feeling the emotion. What happens to us and what causes the majority of our stress and tension is that we are in denial of what we're feeling and experiencing. Okay, that is what causes suffering. So the thing to do now that is the most compassionate is that when you come into a state of feeling, of emotions, whether it's anger or frustration or fear, that you sit with that emotion and acknowledge it. Hear your body. Hear what it's telling you. Why is it telling you that? Okay? as you become present, it's going to tell you, okay, as you feel the emotion and you sit with it for a moment, all of these other emotions come up. Your body speaks to you. It says, okay, I'm angry. Why? Because this and this happened. Not only am I angry, but I'm also upset because of this. I'm fearful of what's happening here. Okay, so you kind of begin to recognize what's happening within your body. You recognize what you're going through. This is imperative for all of us to do right now. If we skip that step, all we're going to do is shove those emotions deeper and deeper into the body. And what happens when they go into the body, they get reabsorbed into the multidimensional body. So the physical organs are processing and suppress that information and then manifest non-physically in the body, and they become stagnations, okay, blockages. So this is why we block our higher self or our higher aspects of ourselves, your more spiritual self per se. It's difficult for us to connect with the spiritual self because our body is so full of these blockages that we are in denial of. So it's important to acknowledge, and this denial is very tricky. It's very intelligent. The subconscious mind is a master working with the ego to try to protect itself, okay, from accepting vulnerabilities, from seeming helpless. There's this very interesting dynamic between the ego and the facades that we're playing, the roles, the masks that we play as victims or as powerful people. All of these things that we create as an identity, external identity, oftentimes are arguing with the ego, with the internal ego. So we have to become aware of those little internal battles that we have to understand where we are kind of blocking our own selves. So this is where we begin. Okay, this is where I would say this is where the gold is. When you feel that emotion in your body, you're going to begin to have memories and remember that the beginning of that emotion, what caused that emotion in the first place. And this is where you're learning about what triggers you, okay? This is so important to understand what triggers you. If you know what triggers you, you can learn to disengage from reacting to those triggers the next time that a trigger comes up. Okay, so this is the trick to really coming into this way of being a conscious, aware human being. You're no longer just reacting with instincts to the things that are happening. You're choosing how you wish to experience every moment. Okay, so that's where I would say, and we can go deeper into that if you like, but thank you so much for that question. It's so important.
Yeah, let's go a little deeper into that because I think it's important to get the feel of it, to get the true emotional and physical meaning of that. Because, look, we all have these blockages. We all have these abilities to have these stress balls build up inside of us to the point where we're hunched over or we've got sore hips or sore knees or ankles or elbows, whatever it may be. How do we get rid of those blockages and release that energy that we need to in order to heal our body?
When you realize, so what is that, first of all? Those blockages are, just to simplify, it's unaware aspects of yourself that you're unaware of. And because we have such an intelligent organism, it's also aspects of ourselves that we're in denial of. Okay, so sometimes when we don't want to see the truth to preserve ourselves, to preserve our ego, or to stay out of a constant state of panic mode and survival mode, because we're in such uncertain times, doing the inner work sometimes feels more threatening than it does to just go turn on the TV and watch a movie and kind of escape for a moment. And I get it. However, when you do the work, it is, so incredibly sustaining to maintain the body in a state of peace, calm, that you will no longer need to be escaping from the things that are happening. You have become best friends with uncertainty. What causes us the tremendous amount of fear is the fact that we don't know, we don't recognize, or we don't know how to recognize the things that we're feeling in our body. So these emotions that we're storing are things that we don't know how to deal with. So we have to train ourselves. We have to train ourselves to deal with our emotions. And the only way to do that is to feel them. What happens is we suppress emotions. We have been raised in a society that tells us, for example, if you're a man, you're not allowed to cry. These little programs. If you're a woman, you're over emotional and you're allowed to go into panic mode. Okay, so all of these little things, these little sayings that we've been programmed subconsciously affect the divine masculine and feminine of ourselves. Okay, the expression of those two dualistic expressions within us. Now, all of us have those aspects. Okay, so what am I talking about? Consider yourself this inner child constantly. Okay, this is who you need to learn to take care of, is this inner child. You have an inner child, and this inner child is either crying or upset about something or hasn't gotten something, or he or she is incredibly happy and trying to run away from something. These are the two expressions of the imbalanced divine feminine or masculine. We have to address those sides. So when we're doing healing work with our emotions, the most powerful cathartic way to begin to have sustaining change and healing with yourself and your emotions is by talking to yourself as if you are that inner child. So you come into a state of survival mode right now. Oh my God, I can't pay my bills. I don't know what to do with my company. I don't know what to do with, with what I'm going to eat. How am I going to feed my kids? What am I going to do tomorrow? Am I going to have a job? So imagine that person that's stressing out is actually a child. Okay, the perspective begins to change. You come into a state of compassion, more supportive, more loving. And so this is what you want to be for yourself. So when we're healing these blockages, look at the emotion that comes up, and as that emotion comes up, address that emotion as if it were this child feeling that way. So let's say you have a hip problem here, resentment with family members or resentment with your coworkers, whatever it is. Okay, feel the resentment. Take a look at that resentment and look at yourself as if you're a child feeling resented. What does this child need in that moment? And the reason why we do that is because the ego really is like a child. It's capricious. It wants to be, it wants what it wants immediately. Okay, it wants that instant gratification. That's what the ego demands all the time. It wants to feel safe. It wants to have everything that it needs, and it wants to be the best at things. So when it doesn't have that, or when it doesn't know how to get to those places, it begins to react in these ways that put it in survival mode, and that just causes you more suffering and more pain, and takes you further away from what you authentically truly need. So this is where the work has to happen. And so my invitation is to, when you're working with these emotions, as you cure that child, give that child what it needs. And you're going to learn through this very simple exercise what you need. So take note of the things that you're giving the child, and then notice how you can begin to apply the list of those things to yourself now. When you realize that, it's almost as if this weight is lifted. And that weight that's lifted is you acknowledging yourself. You're no longer in denial. You're no longer suppressing, ignoring, pretending it's not there, or running away. And that's where this pain starts to leave. It doesn't have a home anymore because it doesn't need to be suppressed and stored within the body. It's been acknowledged. And that's how the body creates powerful, powerful healing.
Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, and we are talking about how to heal and release that pain. Now, spiritually speaking, When we are clammed up the way we are, stressed out the way we are right now because of what is everything that's going on, how does that affect any type of communication, both with spirits and or off-worlders?
Yeah, it affects us a lot. I've seen two major waves right now over the past couple months. Number one, either people are completely open and they're having all kinds of dialogue, or two, they are completely closed. Why? Because, again, we come into survival mode. We come into fear. When we come into a state of fear, we are believing in the illusion of separation. We're feeling that we are isolated, lonely, helpless, and separate from the things that feel safe, that feel grounded and secure. So anytime that the body comes into those ideas that we're not safe, that we're not secure, we come into fight or flight mode. And so fight or flight mode means that we either want to run away and escape, or we want to go out and argue, fight. And usually that manifests in the body with a really strong anger. We get angry. Okay, so when we come into any of these feelings, and when they're not addressed, like I was previously saying, we're just on this auto drive of anger. And this is a vibrational expression that the body is emitting from our organs, okay? You have to understand that you are an energetic being. Half of you is physical, but you have a whole other spectrum to your human body that is non-physical. Please understand. So when you come into a feeling or an emotion, most of you is speaking in an energetic language that is not seen, but is felt by those empaths that we were just talking about earlier, is being felt. And so you're emitting this vibrational frequency that is becoming a match to the next experience, the next person that you're going to meet, the next thing that you're going to be doing. Please understand, this is how we manifest our experiences. So if you really take into account the reality of how that functions, you're going to take things a little more seriously, okay? Also, the body takes all of those chemicals that are very toxic and begins to create stress in the body, and that can make us gain weight. It makes us want to eat things. It makes us want to do all kinds of things that make us want to create padding, safety to keep us and make us feel safe. And it can be anything. It can be alcohol. It can be food. It can be emotions. Okay, so this is how the human body works, guys. We got to get aware. We have to become aware of how the body works when we come into these moments of stress so that we can learn to support it better. And this kind of education is really basic 101 human function, you know. So if we're not aware of how to support ourselves in those moments of stress, we are going down a path of unhealthiness. This is medically proven. This isn't just woo-woo stuff. The body, comes into this flight or fight mode, and then our immune system begins to fall apart, right? So many things are affecting us on a physical and non-physical level that we have to take into account. It's important to create balance within the emotional body. The emotion is the motor of this physical body. Okay, the emotions are what are running the well-being of all the organs and all of these other systems in the body. So if we have those out of balance, out of whack, the entire organism falls apart. Okay, so the emotions that we have are based on our perception. So as a matter of fact, our perception is the only thing that we can control. Don't forget that. We can't control what people outside of us do. It doesn't matter what we do. We can change ourselves into 12 different colors, and the person in front of us can still be unhappy with what we are or how we're doing things. Let's talk about it on a collective level. We can do all the right things that we think this system needs from us right now. But if the system doesn't want to cooperate or is not pro-human, it doesn't matter. We're just going to be wasting our energy on that, right? So we got to look at the priorities is by creating a strong individual that is from the inside out, becoming a foundation, and for a creation, basically. Okay, you're humans. Humans here are meant to create. They're meant to manifest. If we're not in manifestation mode, we're in survival mode. We're dying. Whatever is stagnant is death. It doesn't move. Okay, so we got to be constantly moving. All those emotions that are stuck in the body cause illness, cause death ultimately.
Right.
And we're going energetically through a transition that is weeding out all of the people, all of the things that are not moving, that are not
All right, Geraldine, hold that thought.
Yep.
We'll be back with more Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You on Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thaw, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning on in. We want to remind all of you that if you've missed any of our shows, or portions of this one, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and doing a little reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. We got Geraldine Orozco tonight. She is with the Spiritual You. She comes in at the beginning of each month to get our Zen and Chi in check. And that's why we love her around here. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com and BayAreaMeditation.com. If you want to check her on out, highly suggest you do, because she is highly intelligent and just an amazing person. So, Geraldine, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you, everyone. Happy to be here again.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And, you know, right before the break, we were talking about, you know, just everything about how to heal, how to get ready, how to, you know, move forward. Do we have our own contact affected from off-worlders or spirits when we are this stressed out? And you were saying, yes, we do. How do we take that step back to get back to where we only feel comfortable in ourselves? You know, we got to feel comfortable again. We got to, you know, those sweatpants that we are wearing right now almost on a daily basis, and Lord knows I am wearing sweatpants, if not shorts, on a daily basis. How do we get comfortable in them again?
Yeah, just to end the thought of what we were talking about. Let's just go back to basics. I mean, everything that we have, again, like, you got to understand that you are creating your experience. So Bring it back home. Focus on what you need. What does your body need right now? It's almost as if it's like we're recovering. We're all recovering from, let's say, we all went to get some kind of procedure done, okay? We got a surgery done. What's the first thing you do when you're recovering? The doctor says, get a lot of rest, drink a lot of water, take care of yourself, nurture yourself. In a sense, what I feel, it's like we're all going through this rebirth phase right now, okay? And I know sometimes that might sound funny to hear, but what do we do when we're coming into this new self? We have to kind of treat ourselves like pampering ourselves, What kind of food do we need to eat? What's healthy for us right now? Instead of coming into survival mode, come into nurture mode. Okay, come into nurture mode. Can you try to cook a little bit better for you? Can you take the extra time that you have right now to nourish the body? Okay, are you eating too much sugar? I have learned with an incredible sugar detox over the past couple of months, the power of the addiction of sugar and the effect that it has on the body. That is not only neurological, but physical and emotional. Okay, so take a look at that. I invite you, and I never considered myself someone to be eating a lot of sugar until I started to really pull out everything. I mean, even carbs and fruits, and it really just kind of cleansed the body in an emotional and spiritual aspect. I'm writing about that in my book right now to talk about how the body responds to the food that we eat on a spiritual level. Are we using food to escape? Are we using food to fill up emotional gaps that we have? Okay, so that awareness of yourself and what you need is first. So do whatever is necessary to get that awareness. Sit down and meditate, go for a walk, take a shower. It's very calming to be in a shower with water, working with water. Even if you have to sit in front of a mirror and look at yourself, mirror work is incredibly powerful, okay? For men and women, sit in front of a mirror, look at yourself, and connect with yourself. It's a powerful, powerful exercise that you can try out. And what you're looking at is to meet yourself, meet your emotions, meet your needs, meet, what it is that you need in this moment. And that's the first step. And build your day around that. Okay, so what you're going to notice is that the things that you're going to be choosing are going to be much more productive. You're going to be choosing things that are good for your future. Do you need to clean up your house? Do you need to remodel your space that you're in so that you can feel healthy and thriving and open? What are those things? Focus on that. Do what it takes to get yourself there, and these are the things, okay? Then with the food that you're eating, take time. Have nurturing organic foods. Cook for yourself. Don't just eat outside all the time, or, don't eat processed food. Fresh vegetables, fresh foods, things that are nurturing, okay? Eat the rainbow.
Like bacon.
And then, is that a color in the rainbow, Dave?
Close enough.
Is it? Okay.
It's a little piece. Hey, it is a gift from heaven. Bacon is a gift from heaven.
Oh my God. Not going to argue that. Not going to argue it. Okay. So then we're going to talk about the emotional aspect, which is what we were talked about in the past segment, right? We talked about how to get those emotions. So, this is recorded. Go back to that. Listen to that. Listen to the steps. Stay present with the emotion, feel the emotion, work with that information, and process it, and then act on it. The last step that I have is application of what you know. A lot of you that are listening to this radio show right now, you guys are amazing. You guys have been doing the work. You guys have been reading the books. You've been signing up to the lectures. You've been going to all these amazing events. You guys have all of the information. When are you guys going to start applying what you've known already? Okay, you're not in learning phase anymore. We're in the phase of application. So the thing is to take all of these things that we've learned and understand how to embody that. There's a huge difference between hearing the word love yourself and actually living that, embodying that. Okay, how do you embody that? Is really doing all these things that we were talking about in this entire segment. Is we're talking about how to connect with your needs and to address them. Okay. You guys have to be your own best friend. And that's the last thing I want to say about this is be your own best friend. It's really time for you to support yourself, body, mind, and soul. Okay? That's the most important thing to do.
Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, for a lot of people out there who are, trying to move forward and they're trying to think ahead to prep for better days, and have used this time wisely, how much better off are they going to be comparatively to those who've been living this whole time, this last number of months, in fear, in not knowing what's going on, and, eyes glued to the news, whether it's radio, television, or online, whatever it may be?
Well, they're going to feel, first of all, they're going to be further into that survival mode because they haven't taken the time to connect with themselves and check in with what's happening. All of what's happening outside of us, it's not for all these things to happen. It is for the change, but what we're missing to see is that the kind of transformation that we're going through right now, it's a deep internal transformation, okay? It's a reflection of the kind of transformation that has to happen individually. The entire world, whether it's the political aspect or the educations or the financial aspect of the world, we're not going to know which direction to take any of those things if we don't know what's best for us individually, okay? So you need to know that first. What do you need? And how are you going to get there? Okay, so that awareness you have to connect with that awareness before you go anywhere. So at the end of all of this, if all you've been doing is feeding on that fear mongering and the manipulation and mind control that has been really heavily put out through all kinds of different ways, social media, whatever media, all this stuff, you're going to feel extremely disconnected from the people around you. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like you don't know what to do next. And you're not going to know in which direction to take yourself. And that really causes a tremendous amount of fragmentation and trauma. Okay. What's important right now is for us to inform ourselves by creating a really strong intuition. The intuition is the language, the unseen language of this entire universe. And it's almost as if just the way that there's a news, going through our media station right now, they're telling us the news, telling us information. There's also another level of information that we need to be tapping into right now. That information is how we are going to be changing collectively. Right now, if you take a look at the regression that I did with Alba Weinman 133, a couple years ago in 2016, I talked about this wave of red energy that was going to come into the world, okay? What that red energy is fear and the manipulation of fear. That's what we're going through right now, okay? And one of the things that I said, I just reheard it the other day, and I was surprised how incredibly fitting it was to the time that we're going through right now. Those of us that are in a constant survival mode, that are disconnected from our bodies and that dialogue, this is how the earth purifies itself. It's weeding out the unconscious from the conscious, okay? And this is not something that's being said right now to cause fear or anxiety. It's the opposite. We have all the tools that we need in our hands right now to become aware of our body and our mind. We have to do that. Okay, so the more that we feel like we need to run away, the more you need to sit down and connect with your body. And when you do, you're going to realize, oh my God, where have I been? Why haven't I been doing this sooner? You're going to have a really nice day. You're going to be connected with your body. You're going to be calm. You're going to be in control of your emotions. And you're not going to be feeling like you're constantly being taken through an emotional roller coaster, which is what's happening to the most of us right now. Okay, so it's really important. That strong foundation is what happens when the human comes into alignment with itself. Not only with yourself. When you ground yourself, you're aligning yourself with the toroidal field of the planet Earth. You're connecting with nature. Okay, we are these. We live in this physical shell, which is a projection of all of this infinite consciousness as it manifests in the three-dimensional plane, in the physical plane. But what makes these bodies function in this planet Earth is the natural environment that we live in. So we have infinite fountain and access to life force energy through the oxygen we breathe and through nature, grass, go step on grass, go walk outside barefoot, all of these natural things that science has proven that helps bring the body into a rebalanced state. Okay, this is all regular basic stuff that we all should know. So we need to start employing those tools that are available to us free, openly accessible. There's no excuse for you not to be able to use that right now. Those are my 2 cents.
Well, I think that's about 4 cents worth right there.
Okay, well, there you go.
I really do. No, I thought it was very, very well said. And as we got about 8.5 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour, Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight. I think it's right because, looking at what Corey was saying in our chat room, he says fear breeds anxiety and causes pain and suffering. The only thing to fear is fear itself.
That's right. That's right, Corey. You got it. You totally got it. That's exactly right.
All right. Let's get to Cherie here. You know Cherie. Beautiful, lovely,
Cherie.
and talented Cherie.
Oh, yes.
Ariano.
Right? Yes.
Ariano. Hey, awesome. I pronounced her last name right. Yay.
You did.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah. And she is asking, Geraldine, why do some who focus on the chaos in the news create one timeline and others who don't tap into the fear in news create another timeline? And where do we all end up? And hi, by the way. And she waves at you.
Hi, my love. So good to hear from you. Well, here's the thing. And this is what causes us a lot of stress. Okay. We forget that we live in a dualistic expression. Okay. There has to be, in order for us to live in what we live in, physical and non-physical, let's say light and dark, good and bad, positive and negative. Okay. So all of us are transitioning in and out of these 2 aspects of reality right now. All of us. We're doing it emotionally. We're doing it physically. We're going through these, the dualistic expression with the experiences and how we're perceiving what we're experiencing right now individually and collectively. Okay. So what does it mean to choose timelines? What does she mean by timelines? Timelines.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, and I know that can seem like a word that seems very abstract, but what we're talking about is how you choose to experience this moment, okay? We, as multidimensional beings, with every intention that we have, with every perception of a moment that we have, choose what our next experience is going to be. If you're in a state of fear, you're going to be receiving and experiencing things that respond to that fear. Okay, that's basic. We all know that. If you're in a state of joy and happiness, we're going to be experiencing things that respond to that happiness. Okay, and so it's very important to keep that awareness of how that functions, how that works, because if you do, it kind of changes the heaviness of how you are so responsible for the things that you're experiencing right now. Okay, so in other words, it's in your hands. Everything begins and ends with you. Let me say that again. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are this infinite consciousness right now that has fragmented as it manifests into the physical, which means that you are now a dualistic expression of the infinite. Okay? And that means that you have a choice of experiencing this human body through suffering or through joy. It's really that simple, and yet the steps to get to either one of those, we tend to be more familiar with suffering than we are with joy. Okay? Because we have been trained since children to be in constant survival mode because of the systems and the highly compartmentalized societies and systems that we've been acquainted with. So in order for us to come back to being acquainted with more of a joy, we have to kind of deconstruct and leave behind the programs that cause further fragmentation. Fragmentation is exactly what Corey was saying earlier, is the fear. Fear is the belief that we are separate, that you and I are alone, that we're abandoned, that we're helpless, when in reality, we are one organism experiencing everything that's happening right now. One. Okay? And everyone that we come into contact with is a direct mirror of the things that you're experiencing right now. So this is how we manifest. If I'm feeling fearful, I'm attracting people that are feeling fearful, and I'm bringing them into my space. I'm experiencing with them. I'm talking with them. I come into anger with them. I want to react with them. And therefore, my response to the things that are happening collectively are coming from that perspective. I have then chosen a timeline, which is now like a snowball developing as a result of that emotion, of that thought. If I choose joy and if I choose to come into a state of peace and I take ownership of myself and my body, I am responsible for my emotions, I'm responsible for what I'm feeling, it's going to take a whole different shape to what I experience. I'm going to be attracting those kinds of people and those experiences. I'm going to look at the world and what's happening in the world around me with a different light. I'm not going to come into a victim mode. I'm going to come into a mode of ownership of my emotions, which empowers me to be in control of my space here and now. Okay? So this is how we choose timelines. And we're doing this individually and we're doing it collectively, which is really can be very scary, guys. Because if all of us go down the road of going into a state of fear, then we're collectively creating a lot of suffering, right? And this also is a demonstration of how powerful we are, you guys. Don't forget, there is a 1% here that is in control of the majority of the systems that are running the show right now. Don't forget that. 1%, which means there is a whole other percentage of a whole human race that has the ability to stand up and say, we no longer want to continue going down that path. And the path should be one of this, love and this responsibility of the self. This is the road to change. So this is the invitation, is to choose that responsibility of yourself and to begin to change things from the inside out. That's the only way to change.
It's the only way you can. It's all about you and what you do. And I think that's such a deep message that you have given tonight, which is so different from what we have received in the past from you. And when you have that mental release of everything that you just say, screw it, I'm letting go, I'm making this about my time and me, how much or how quickly does your body actually start to heal?
So quickly, Dave. I want to give you an example, you guys, and I'll share this with you because it's so important. I started to feel very exhausted, very, very sick, very tired. I had like fatigue, a couple months ago. And I had to sit with myself and say, okay, Geraldine, what do you need? What do you need? I need to practice what I preach, what I know, apply this wisdom and connect with my body. And a lot of things started to come up, understanding what my body needs for my health. So I did the change. I changed my health. And within a week, I went through a transition point, which it wasn't pretty, right? I went through this detox and it was very difficult for my body. Like I'm telling you, when we're changing, when things are transforming, it has to go through, it's got to go through the turbulence in order to get to that smooth space sometimes. And that's okay. Please understand, the spiritual path is not for the weak of heart. It's not for the coward. It's not for the person that's in denial. It's not for the person that's fearful. It's for the person that's brave, that is not afraid to look at reality and their own truth, even if it's ugly. Okay? So we got to go through that part, and we have to be really nurturing to that transition. That's something that we forget to remember about the spiritual and awareness and becoming conscious. So you go through the detox, and then within that next week, not only did I have ridiculous amounts of energy, but I could think better. I was clear. I was focused. I sat down and got so much done. And 1 month later, I have accomplished more in 1 month than I could do in the past year. Okay, so this is just me giving you an example of how I did it for myself. And I'm getting phone calls from my clients that are doing the same. They're starting to apply these lessons of self-love. They're practicing. They're doing the work. They're meditating. They're looking in the mirror. They're talking to themselves. They're applying what they think they need, and they're making the change. So the thing is, when in your life are you ever going to have an opportunity as you have it now, where the whole world has stopped? You might be working from home. Yes, your future might be uncertain right now. But are you going to go back to the same? Never. You guys, we're never going back to the same again. And we shouldn't. We shouldn't, because the same wasn't working anymore. Okay? We got to change that. You weren't healthy. You need to be healthy now. Body, mind, and soul. It has to change.
Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You. We got it for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio as we look to make the turn into hour number 3 on the big show tonight. Geraldine's websites, BayAreaMeditation.com, GeraldineOrozco.com, Fantastic Hair in San Francisco.com as well. Geraldine will be with us for another 30 minutes, and then we're going to connect up with Drex in Vancouver, the news, and the thought of the day. Jam-packed hour 3 coming on up.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thaw, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you'd know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website, and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Really appreciate you all taking the time to tune us in, and we say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America. Hi, Chuck, down at KZAX in Ridgecrest, California. On the digital side, we're on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Be sure to tune us in there. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, La Crematory. La Crematory is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and doing a little shopping and reading at Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. We really appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show. And my personal handle as well, at Dave Scott SOR. For the final time tonight, we introduced Geraldine Orozco from The Spiritual You. Her website's GeraldineOrozco.com, BayAreaMeditation.com. She's pretty phenomenal. And Geraldine, we got a couple of audience questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, love it. Let's answer them.
All right. Mark is asking, how do you handle being an abductee by tall grays?
How do I handle it? You know what? My journey has been very interesting. When I first got abducted in 2013, I actually kept it very quiet for many years until 2017. And the reason why I kept it quiet is because the partner that I was with and my career and everything, at the time, because it was such a new thing, everyone was like, don't talk about it at all. And I know a lot of you experience that kind of resistance from family and friends sometimes too. But I didn't feel well with that. It didn't sit with me. I really felt like, we needed to talk about it, especially because I'm a part of the hybridization program. So after I got my regression, I made those hypnosis regressions public. They are live. You can watch them on YouTube under Alba Weinman 133 and 178, which is the one that I talk about reliving literally those abduction experiences. After going so public, it was inevitable for me, and the transition became very natural. It was a time in which I had to be completely authentic and real with who I am in my life experiences. And I owned it. That's what happened to me in my life. There's no illusions of whether it's real or questioning what had happened. There was no need for that anymore. And I think that the good thing about having the regression is that it helps you integrate. So if you're a contactee and you've had regression or you're thinking about it, that might really help you. The other thing that helped me was going to support groups. When I went to support groups, I heard other people talking about their experiences, and my mind was blown. I even met a person that I saw on the craft with me. Okay, so those kinds of things really helped me integrate my own personal experience, my own existential crisis that came as a result of this kind of information. And it made it where I had to own it really and just be okay with what's real, which is my experience. So I suggest if you're having trouble, what do you need? Do you need more information? Do you need confirmation? Do you need support from others? Always remember that sometimes we can't depend on others outside to give us permission to accept the things that happen in our life, or to accept or give us permission to say that the things that happen to us are okay or not okay. Whatever it is that you are fighting within you about your own personal experiences, you have to be your own person to give you permission. You're your own foundation. And when I realized that, I didn't feel like I needed to ask other people to approve what was happening or to, like me or not like me for what was happening. So that's an important growing part of this kind of experience. That is a great invitation. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to Peanut Butter Rolls, who is asking about your 24 off-world children. How are they? Have you got to see any of them lately?
I have had contact lately, but not from the same group. And I have not seen my children. I've communicated with them through light language, and I was just talking about this on a interview I did a couple days ago, about how in 2000, let's see, when was this? Last year, at the end of last year, I started speaking light language, and it was through light language that I downloaded a whole communication with them. How did I know that? Without telling someone that specializes in translating light language, I sent them the recording of what I had spoken during a meditation, and they wrote me out 3 pages of this communication talking about very intimate aspects of contact that I hadn't shared with anyone publicly. So I was really blown away by this person that was able to translate the light language, and I was having communication with these children, supposedly. But I'd also like to add that my perspective of connecting with the children has changed drastically. It has evolved. And the reason for that is my perspective is, if there's this extraterrestrial contact and there's hybridization programs that are meant to take children and to procreate and create more life, my question is about free will and where my choice played a role in the participation of those programs, right? So I question that a lot. And what I felt is that during the time of making the decisions of choosing to participate in that, there wasn't, or there was a lack of awareness on some level. Okay, so I think that as individuals that are part of these hybridization programs, we have a choice. We have a choice of continuing feeling these abductions or pulling away from them. And at this point, I have broken all my contracts with them. So I'm not experiencing them with the same group. I'm experiencing some with some other groups now.
Those other groups, what kind of species of ETs are they?
The ones more recently, actually a couple days ago, and actually last night, Dave, I had a very interesting experience of being on board a craft. And this is not, even though I'm quite immersed in this extraterrestrial topic, these experiences don't happen every night. They happen maybe every couple months, every 3 months or something like that. Okay. So it's they stand out. These are tall grays that I have seen. That's what I remember.
All right. I got to ask you this. In regards to having the 24 hybrid children, does there come a point at your age, and I have no idea how old you are. I mean, you look you're in your late 20s, early 30s, but at your age or any age out there, is there an age cap where these type of situations for the hybridization program end? Or does it just continue, say, from the time you hit puberty right up until the time you die? If you're lucky enough to make it to senior citizenship.
Yeah, that's a very excellent question, Dave. And it's something that I'm trying to research, Dave, because the funny thing is that I get women that are already, been in menopause for many years. They're in their 60s already, even 70s. That write me and tell me that they still have certain experiences and that seem to involve the hybridization program. So it's very interesting. And the conclusion that I've gotten to is that based on the idea that we are multidimensional beings and that we as multidimensional beings have, in a sense, aspects of ourselves that are living other timelines, like we were talking earlier. Okay, so for example, every experience that you choose is a potential timeline. Now, that vibrational signature that's created from that possible timeline is living itself out on some level. And this is actually proven, scientifically proven, okay? Or they've done a lot of experiments on this, on how these potential timelines live themselves out. It's basically like a mathematical algorithm. It's an X factor that plays itself out in one equation, okay? And there's many multiple equations. Let's say a certain fragment of yourself in that equation is experiencing a past life or a future life or an alien life or another aspect of yourself. I think that through the substance of DNA, they are able to access other aspects of your humanity, of your human self or non-physical self, in order to continue the hybridization program. So in other words, they can take genetic material from you that's not necessarily having to do with your womb or, to procreate the child within you or gestate the child within you, but they continue taking this material which holds on to the prime material, which is, of course, your DNA. That's really what they're after. And so I believe that these experiments are carried out late for some people into, the late 70s and 60s and 70s, because I've met a lot of these women and men that continue to have experiences as if they were experiencing some kind of participation in a hybridization program. So I think there's much more to these agendas than we know, Dave. I think there's much more.
Mark is asking, what are the new ones that you said? You said before the tall grays were abducting you.
New ones? New race? Is that what he means?
Yes.
Well, a race that I've kind of come in contact with over the past 6 months is these very tall blue beings that are a little bit they're quite unique, actually. And I haven't really spoken very much about this or shared anything, but they are like tall grays with smaller heads, but in the color blue. Okay, very, very slim, very tall, very thin, very, you can see their entire body is almost like a translucent blue. And what you see is what looks like some kind of light structure, like almost like their skeleton is like a light structure as opposed to bones or like, muscle mass. So that's what they look like. It's very interesting. And the dialogue with them is extremely limited and controlled and very precise. Very precise. So I've kind of been, I just became acquainted with them and just to see what they were all about. But as you know, believe it or not, I'm also quite skeptical when it comes to meeting any kind of entity or any kind of external intelligence of any kind, because I'm very cautious of employing my free will and really choosing carefully who I choose to interact with. So it was just interesting to experience that. And I want to share that because, I don't know about you, Dave, but I've been hearing that a lot of people have been having sightings and they have been experiencing a lot of contact recently. Have you heard anything about that? But I'm getting emails left and right.
Everybody's having contact but me. Everybody is.
Oh, Dave, you've just had such an interesting thing happen to you.
What?
Remember?
What? I got nothing.
No? What? At the conference you were talking about that event so recently.
I know, but that's died off.
It's died off. You need a new one. Okay.
Yeah. I am going to look for Dogman on the weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, that should be interesting.
Yes.
Mm.
All right, let's get to another question from Chris. He's asking, can ETs use radio and YouTube to piggyback on the frequencies to find more people for their program?
I would like to answer this question in a way where we can talk a little bit about channeling. Okay. I think that one of the ways that intelligences permeate the veil, come in through this veil, is they are connecting with people through channeling, okay? And so that's why discernment is incredibly important right now, because more than ever, people that are learning about, it's becoming a mainstream thing, this thing about, first we started with yoga, then it was like, meditation studios everywhere. And then the mindfulness trend was really big, especially here in the Silicon Valley. Mindfulness is huge. So we're kind of approaching this topic little by little, and it's becoming a little more mainstream, where we're questioning consciousness. We're questioning all of these interdimensional aspects of ourselves, including metaphysics, right? And so what we're considering is the idea that now people are experimenting with the idea of developing their psychic abilities, and that makes them available to a range of frequencies and organisms that are intelligent organisms that are out there. So they connect to you and they channel through you and they bring information. The question is, who are these beings? Are they malignant? Are they positive people? What are they? What are they? Are they positive beings? So our discernment is incredibly important. And even though some information that comes through can seem so high vibration, you have to very carefully listen to what they're saying to be able to discern whether it is truly pure information or inverted information. I personally, as you know, I'm not in the thought of connecting with anything external other than what is coming purely through me, my higher self, or whatever is manifesting as my higher self. And I'm very clear about that. So I think that a lot of extraterrestrial groups tend to utilize humans potentially as hosts in order to bring in information. And it's not to say that that's good or bad. I just think that it's a channel in a way for them to communicate, just the way that, we have these, crop circles and other phenomena and anomalies that happen, which we can't explain, that are in some way communications from the other side, beyond the veil. I think that's one of the ways. And that's one way that I've seen that works, not just from extraterrestrials, but even from terrestrial programs utilize mind control to have a host and channel through that. So from that sense, you can say, maybe some YouTubers out there or some healers or something like that sometimes are playing out some of these roles. They are being directed in a sense by some of this intelligence. I think it's important to be aware of that.
Fitness Girls on our YouTube chat is asking, what are your thoughts on Stephen Greer's CE5 protocols?
Oh boy, yeah, that's a question. What are my thoughts? Well, let me piggyback on the last thing that we just talked about. Okay, if I believe that there is intelligence that is open to communicating with us through means which may or may not be an invasion of our free will or a manipulation of our free will, why connect or try to connect with extraterrestrials and UFOs, call them into your space, when you can have organic experiences on your own by connecting with your own higher self and accessing the aspects of yourself which are available to you for extraterrestrial contact. I think that it's a very real thing, and you can have UFO sightings. I've done UFO sightings. I've done CE5s. I participated in them. We've had contact. We've seen craft, and I think it's a very real thing. But the other side of it, and I always have to have these two sides, so please bear with me, okay, is who are we calling in and why? Why are we calling them in? So I always want to invite you to look at both sides of the coin. Yes, you can have contact, but my thing is, what's your intention? What are you trying to get out of it? Because there's also people that have experiences and then they go down rabbit holes that they don't want to go down, right? It's all based on their perception, their intention, and their ability to cope with what's unknown that will define those experiences. If you're a very high vibration person, you might have an incredible experience when you come in contact with these extraterrestrials or UFOs. Okay, so it's important to see that because we have a very long history of relationship between the government and extraterrestrials, which has resulted in manipulation of consciousness and free will. So I don't tend to agree with that. And I would like to be very cautious in noting that when we are making contact, that we are in our 5 senses, fully grounded and aware of our intentions and why we are wanting to connect. That's all. Other than that, please feel free to connect with whatever it is that you wish to connect with, of course.
We've got 90 seconds left with you. I want to fit in one quick question here from Mark. Quickly define DNA reprogramming.
DNA reprogramming is identifying what your vibrational frequency, your highest vibrational frequency is, which is made up of all the information that your entire organism is storing. So everything we talked about earlier in the show, pain, suffering, trauma, programs, which are in this lifetime and ancestrally brought down through your mitochondrial and I'm so sorry, I forgot the other one, but your father's lineage and your mother's lineage, down that lineage coming into your body. We deconstruct all of those programs that no longer work in order to bring you into a new vibrational frequency. Okay, and we do it through regression. We take you back into that root cause of those programs. We open them up, we work with them, we heal them, and we reintegrate fragments of your soul that are created from there. And that also goes down the line of working with your ancestors. Okay, so it's a very deep work. It takes a lot of dedication. The sessions are 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And I guide you because I can see everything that you're seeing in your session. I guide you through the session to be able to process all of the trauma in order for you to really understand and create like a very strong foundation for change moving forward. So it's long-lasting effect. It is a long-lasting effect. It's a foundational effect. That's what it's about.
Awesome. Geraldine Orozco, we will talk to you on Tuesday, July, let me see here. I'm going to fit you in there somewhere. We'll fit you in. I got you there. All right. GeraldineOrozco.com. We'll talk to you in July. Much love. Coming up next, we're going to join Drex in Vancouver, and we're going to have the news and the thought of the day. Stay tuned.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Mr. Drax, it's always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio, us on with you and your beautiful audience. Let's get weird. You know, let's just get weird. How about that? Well, Skyhub is made up of a number of very, very brilliant scientists who are all believers in the UFO phenomena. Now, some of them have government ties. Others have major university ties with teaching in science and mathematics. And a couple of guys who I know on the board, a guy named Steve McDaniel and Bob McGuire, they hang out and they decided, you know what, let's get into this UFO field. Let's see what's going on. You know, all these sightings going on around the world. People cannot be wrong with what they are seeing. You know, some obviously would be, you know, because there's drones, there's hot air balloons, there's skydivers, airplanes, whatever. But they wanted to see what was out there. So they developed Skyhub, which is it's a prototype right now, which is like a fisheye camera lens that hooks up to your internet. It will eventually be available to everybody to buy worldwide, and they're doing it as cheaply as possible. They're hoping to be around $100 American when everything is said and done. And let me tell you this. They decided that they were going to build one of the prototypes. Now, it's not over yet. Okay, they're still testing it out. And one of the test sites is in one of the members' homes in Houston, Texas. Well, this is the video that I sent for you, and I hope you post that video on your Twitter handle.
There's this weird flashing thing right in the middle. And look, when I generally look to the sky and see, you know, a traffic helicopter or something in the sky, I don't always see something flashing that fast. It usually flashes a lot slower, sorry. But this thing just sort of settles into the middle and just stops.
Yes. So what happens there is when people take a look at this video, all right, if you look to your left about 9 o'clock, you're going to see the moon. And then all of a sudden you're going to see just out of nowhere, this light comes from deep in the sky. And then all of a sudden it starts heading to about 1 o'clock, then 2 o'clock, if you're counting by a clock time. And then what happens is as it's moving towards 2 o'clock, it starts to flash, almost looking like an airplane or a helicopter or something along those lines. And then it stops. And it sits there for about 30 seconds, almost like it's wondering, well, hey, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? And then it makes like a 90-degree turn. Yes. Now they calculated. Yes, they calculated the speed to be around over 1,000 miles per hour that it took off. Now, that's the initial calculations. Now, there's nothing that proves that number. That's just an estimate right now. But the fact that this thing at such a high rate of speed in such a short amount of time was able to make 2 90-degree turns and then take off right out of the fisheye camera's view is absolutely incredible. Look, realistically speaking, they don't know what the height is. They don't know the official speed. They don't know if it was a drone, if it was a helicopter. You know, they're still doing the tests. But what they caught on this film is exactly what they've been hoping for. And now that they have the test video, they know the product works, and it's only about 75% done.
Wow. And when you sent it to me, I'm like, oh, this is just a drone. And then I saw it speed away. I was like, no, that's not a drone. That's something else.
We got aliens, my friend. We have aliens. And that's what it comes down to.
Well, it's never really aliens until it's aliens, right? So
exactly. As I always say to people, it's never aliens until you have the experience, and then it's always aliens. Doesn't matter what it was.
So let me ask you, as a UFO enthusiast, you are, as someone that does this as part of their radio show and talks about, different things that people see in the sky, are you planning on getting one of these cameras for your house?
I'm hoping to have one by the end of summer.
Above you?
Oh, no.
No. Really?
Oh, yeah. I plan on getting one hopefully by the end of summer. Actually, one of the scientists, Bob McGuire, is planning a trip up here to where I am in 100 Mile House, British Columbia. And he is planning on hopefully bringing me one at that point. And thank you for tweeting that out, by the way. And I got to say, I'm excited. Weird stuff has been seen at SOR headquarters here, man. It has been seen.
Yeah, well, didn't you have a something show up at your window once? So I'm imagining you're putting a camera facing directly to the sky above your house. They're going to know that you're wanting a second visit. It's going to be like a Mulder putting the X in the window. And the X
Absolutely. We're alien friendly around here. Actually, one of the tests that they want to do with the one that I'm going to be at my house, they're very interested to see how it reacts in the cold. And up here where it gets to minus 25, minus 30 Celsius in the winter, they want to see if the technology will be able to hold out at those temperatures as it sits outside. Because I plan on leaving this thing in my patio. We get a lot of clear, dark nights up here. Perfect for sky watching. Perfect for seeing something very, very strange. And, we're going to go for it. We're going to check it on out.
I can't wait to see what you actually find. Are you... I'm sure that you and your wife have spent a lot of time sort of sitting outside looking up and seeing what happens, because to be able to have that access to dark sky is kind of cool to begin with. Based on what you've seen just with the naked eye, do you think that camera's going to pick up some pretty interesting things?
Oh man, I hope so.
Yeah.
My life is way too boring, man, not to have something like this happen. I mean, it's not every day you get yourself some aliens hovering above your house. So you have to try that out. You have to try and make sure that you get it. And, hey, the only way you're going to be able to know is if you're checking it out. Now, for some people who aren't prepared for it, and you go and get one of these boxes when they're available to the public, I'm telling you, it may scare you. It may scare you. You may not want to know.
Moses, one of our listeners in Richmond, wants to know, what if aliens are avoiding us and our cameras? That's a great question.
That's a very good question, and they might very well be. But, we know they're out there somewhere. We know they are being photographed, maybe not so much the aliens, but these unidentified aerial phenomena. But we have to be able to get the science behind it. And that's the whole goal behind this SkyHub team, is to try and get and figure out the science behind it. What is the technology? What are they doing? I mean, for all we know, this technology may be human. Okay, it may be militarized that only flies at night.
And look, like I said to you, when you first sent me the video, I always walk into whatever you sent me, and you know this, with my healthy hat of skepticism on. Right, and most of the time, I'm freaking out by the end of it because I'm scared about what's happening.
Yes.
But when I looked at this video, I was like, I went to 2 minutes and I went back 30 seconds. I went back to a minute 30, where this thing sort of enters the screen, and I was just like, he's just talking about an aeroplane. This is just an aeroplane. And then I watched it, and then it was like, okay, it's stopping. Like, it's flashing really fast. No plane lights actually flash that fast. The video certainly hasn't been sped up because the thunderstorms look like normal thunderstorms to the right of the screen.
Yes.
And then to see it dart off at an angle, I'm just, what? So there's something there. They caught something. What are the folks on the internet saying that is in 30 seconds?
Well, 30 seconds, what they're saying is this is something potentially phenomenal that we caught. The team is saying, look, we caught something great. We want to be able to do the science on it. We have to improve the product. But the one thing that they are very proud of is that the first stage of testing actually caught something, and they're very proud of that.
Good job. Good job. I like it. But then again, some people are going to think it's a man-controlled drone, but there's always going to be healthy skeptics, isn't there?
Absolutely, but that's what we got to prepare for. That's what it's going to be with everything. By the way, I know you got to go, all right, and I got to get going here too. I just want to say next week, I'm hoping to update you. I'm going on a potential Dogman sighting here in 100 Mile House.
Dogman sighting. We'll get an update next week. Dave, thanks so much for jumping on our show, man, and thanks for having us on your show as well. We appreciate it.
Have a great night, Drex. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to get to the news now on Spaced Out Radio. Captain Shirk's been waiting for this all night long, so let's get it done. Everybody sing. And this is how it ends. Perfect. That's all I know. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the grotesque. Ugh. A California man was recently arrested after police said he murdered a relative and was caught by authorities eating her body. What? Where do you find this stuff, Captain? Oh, disgusting. Yeah, police say they responded to a Richmond residence after a report of a disturbance. When the officers arrived, they said they caught a man in the act of cannibalizing the victim. Both names of the suspect and the victim have yet to be released, police added. Following the incident, police said they took the man into custody on suspicion of murder. Suspicion? How is this suspicion? He had a fork and knife and a napkin wrapped around his neck while he's chowing down like it's Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's horrible. What is wrong? Oh, man. There is nothing about the human body that I can say looks edible. In fact, if I was stuck out in the ocean and literally I had a choice to make between eating a human or jumping into the mouth of Jaws, I'm jumping into Jaws. Okay? Jaws can have me for a meal. He's probably hungry, even though I've whittled away to nothing by that point. First time in a long time I'd been thin. But I'm sorry, none of you look edible. None of you. What is this going on? Why does suspicion of murder? You caught the person red-handed, having a little grandma fillet or sister fillet or mother fillet or whatever it may be. Terrible. The poor victim. Poor victim. My goodness, that's just disgusting. Two Montgomery County teenagers who started helping their grandparents during the novel coronavirus outbreak have turned their goodwill into a nationwide volunteer delivery service with 14 chapters right across the United States right now. The Friends of Montgomery Blair High School, Drew Pye and Matt Casertano, were both buying groceries for their grandparents in early March as coronavirus cases started appearing in the Washington region. That's when Drew realized the greater need and a possible solution. There are plenty of older Americans who don't have younger relatives nearby to help during the pandemic. So the two young teens created Teens Helping Seniors, which connects older adults with volunteers who will deliver groceries and other supplies right to their doorstep. They developed the idea in March, just before schools closed because of the outbreak, which suddenly gave them and their classmates a lot more time to volunteer and help out. Matt said they originally planned for Teens Helping Seniors to be a network for classmates in their high school, but within a week they started to expand because of the demand. By the end of the second week, the boys already had their first chapter outside of the county in Albany, New York. The group now has more than a dozen chapters, including one in Montreal. We've also been really rapidly growing demand. Drew says working out those kinds of logistics can be really hard. Most of the teens who deliver groceries have a driver's license, but Matt and Drew don't. Nope, they still ride their bike or carpool with their parents to a store to fulfill an order for a client. Their chapter has completed about 350 deliveries. One volunteer even presented a senior with a homemade birthday cake for his 85th birthday, free of charge, to go along with his groceries. That kind of blew my mind, the teen said, because the teen and the senior didn't know each other at all. I mean, they were strangers. In Montgomery County, the group has about 250 volunteers. Some shop and make deliveries, and others on the team are dedicated to logistics, connecting seniors with volunteers. Others maintain the group's social media presence, getting the word out about the service. Seniors, by the way, who are interested in the service can email the group and include a home address and preferred schedule for deliveries. The teens will assign a volunteer, and the client will email over a grocery list. When the volunteer is about to go to the store, they call the client to confirm the delivery time. The clients can leave their payment outside or pay using Venmo. I think this is a great idea. Good for these kids. Good for these kids. We got one more here. One more. Emily Canelos Sims has received a Guinness World Record for the largest book fine ever paid at more than $345. Canelos Sims paid the $345.14 fine, even though she wasn't the one who actually borrowed the book. She found the book, Day and Deeds, a book of children's poems, in her mother's house that was due back at the Kewanee Public Library in Illinois back on April 19th, 1955. The fine had accumulated at 2 cents a day, which she paid it 47 years later. Though the fine was the largest ever paid, some books have taken longer to return to the library. George Washington borrowed a book, The Law of Nations, from the New York Library after becoming president and never returned it. The Mount Vernon estate returned it 221 years later. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Being humorous, because we all could use a laugh right now. What else could go wrong in 2020? Start with Nathan. A goblin army could pillage all of our socks and demand more. Dave contracts alopecia and loses all of his hair and beard, then is forced to sell his 17 gallons of beard oil at a financial loss. Thank you, Marty, and thank you for the clown. Appreciate that. Joe. Dave stumbles upon an entire Sasquatch community and watches as they play soccer. Really? Following which they have breakfast for dinner. Come on! Dave does not report the sighting. Not one bit. I am out of the Sasquatch game if that ever happens, Joe. All right, Mike. Murder hornets find out my checking account, tracking number, and PIN. Oscar. The off-worlders decide to cut ties with R. Keith Andrews. Greco. Well, it would be worse if all the Taco Bells closed and I was stuck with those disgusting $1 tacos from Burger King. Yuck! Stick to the burgers, please. Chip. I go back in the closet. Antisocial. A contagious flesh-eating disease is released into society. William. I could get married again. Oh, no, we don't wish that upon anybody. All right, let's move on here. Olaf. The Call of Cthulhu. Enough said. Graham, everything changes, but nothing is lost. Nothing changes, and all is lost in this infinite universe and in the simplicity of love. Kelly, world hunger would be solved, but by none other than Mr. R. Keith Andrews. You guessed it, folks. Black goo. Cherish. Well, I saw a tropical storm is developing over the Atlantic. Well, there's nothing funny about that. Alex, a young Earth creationist, discovers Bigfoot and proves it's a primate. It's not a primate, but an alien. The world would not recover from such abomination. Chris, it's Bearmageddon season. Matthew, Godzilla stomps rioting. Leon. Oh, Leon. Condom manufacturers are targeted with sabotage and a myriad of surprises show up. Debbie, lose my virginity, so I'm not the 50-year-old virgin. I do have 4 kids, though. Oh, she's got some of them alien kids. Tim, Arctic hurricanes that carry polar bears to major cities, a.k.a. the polar vortex. That's where we're going to leave the Thought of the Dave today. Thank you so much for participating. I wish I had time to get through a lot more because there's some funny ones in here. We're going to do it all again tomorrow on Facebook and Twitter, so make sure you check it on out if you want to play along. We encourage you to do so. And a big thanks to Captain Shirk for the abbreviated but absolutely pleasurable SOR Newswire, which can be found at spacedoutradio.com and on our Facebook page, the SOR Newswire. So make sure you check check that on out as well. Geraldine Orozco from The Spiritual You comes in at the beginning of every month to let us know what is going on, how things are going, to find our Zen and our Chi. We'll talk to her again in July. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thanks to everyone participating in our chat rooms on YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, Facebook, the SOR Space Travelers Club at our website, and to all the snarkers and snarkettes who've been hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio all night long. You were absolutely magnificent tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. Remember, the Woo train may be parked for the night, but will take off again tomorrow. Your ticket never expires. Your seat is always available. Come join us for the ride. You deserve it. We deserve it. Let's hang out together. Good night.